Okay, I know this question has been answered by, I think, 3 other tutors, but I thought I'd provide a video and give a little more detail. Okay, when you see the product of powers of sine and cosine when both of the exponents are even, you got to use double angle formulas to replace sine squared and cosine squared to some power. Try to remember this identity right here, and you can derive the double angle formulas quite easily from here, replacing sine squared with 1 minus cosine squared leads to this double angle formula, and likewise replace cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared and leads to this. So we're going to replace sine squared with 1 minus 2x over 2 and cosine to the fourth with cosine squared, which is this thing, the quantity squared. If we square the 2 in the denominator and this 2, we can pull the 1/8 out front. And then we've got 1 minus cosine of 2x times this binomial squared. If you square that binomial, you get this. And then if you multiply the binomial times the trinomial, combine similar terms, you get this. Okay. And we already know that we can replace cosine squared with 1 plus the cosine of twice whatever this angle is. So that's why we have a 4x here, because we're replacing 2x with twice that. So there's a replacement for that, that term right there. And here's kind of proof that all these functions are equivalent. There's the original, there's that, and here's replacing cosine squared 2x with this. Okay, and they all leave the same graph. Okay, so this is what we got to work on. All right, so let's go to board 2. There's the original that we're working on. If there's a couple ways to work through this, several ways to work through this, but if we take the antiderivative of each of these terms, we've got, oh, well, I should notice that 1 minus a half is 1/2. That's why we have 1/2 the integral of dx, integral of cosine of 2x, minus 1/2 the integral of cosine 4x minus the integral of cosine cubed. So the antiderivative of this is just x. The antiderivative of this using u substitution is 1/2 sine of 2x. The antiderivative of this is 1/4 sine of 4x. There's the 1/2 out front, minus 1/2 out front. And now let's go work on this guy. Cosine cubed. What's the antiderivative of cube of 2x? Well, if we separate these into 2 factors, we can replace cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared of 2x. Let u equal sine of 2x, then du equals cosine of 2x times 2, chain rule. So we'll put a 2 here and a 1/2 out front. There's what it looks like after u substitution. And the antiderivative is u minus 1/3 u cubed. Distributing the 1/2 and replacing u with sine of 2x leads to this. So this is what we're going to replace this a with right here. Okay, and so I'll start distributing the 1/8, 1/16 x, 1/16 sine of 2x. This is 1/8 here, multiplied by 1/8 is minus 1/64 sine of 4x. And now we're going to subtract this. So, and multiply by 1/8. So minus 1/16 2x plus 1/48 sine cubed of 2x. These minus 1/16 2x's combine to 0. And there's your antiderivative right there. And I could have put a plus c here. But on Desmos, if I take f prime and type my original function, they have the same graph. So this shows that that is an antiderivative. There you go. Hope that helped. If you have any questions, post a comment.